Hi, everybody. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me. If you like this channel, please like and subscribe, notifications bell, all that. So today, what looks like a hot mess behind me is actually a lot of supplies for pets, and specifically the pets of those that are experiencing homelessness. Rowan, you remember these days? it it's a big deal to provide these things so that it takes some of that worry away from the owners and provides them with some yummy stuff. So let me address some comments. Sydney, I'm scared of what's going to happen on the 10th. Oh, buckle up, Buttercup. Our world is shifting and all in an uproar. So it's going to be emergency after emergency after emergency from this point out. It is what it is. And we can only, as people that do our best, try to be out there and grabbing the people that are nearest to us and trying to help them the best that we can, which is what I'm doing here. Suprabha, hello. Thank you for being my greatest fan. All right, guys. So what I've got behind me is, you'll see we've got little cat. This is cat bags, cat boxes. What if I'm scared to go to the shelter? Do you have any ideas where I can go, like half to sleep out of the back? Okay, first, everybody is scared when they are unhoused. That is a very real thing, and it's traumatizing. It's super traumatizing. But I think that what I will tell you right now is you are in the same place as everyone else. Okay. So what you need to do first is get help. There are places, you don't have to necessarily stay at the shelter to go to the shelter and ask for help. And they will help guide you to where you can get resources such as mattresses or a mattress pad or a tent, or they can show you where there's some transitional housing, because it's a lot of things all under one sphere. So that's my recommendation. And my recommendation is get to know your community. If you are unhoused, get to know other unhoused people. Okay. Those are the people that are going to save your life when things get hairy. That's just how it is. It isn't going to be the person that you think you're like down the street. It's going to be the person that's in the dirt next to you. So, I would say that's my best advice for right now. The reason that these places exist is to offer these kind of services, because we do understand how it is going into becoming unhoused. But it's humbling. It's a humbling experience. It really is. And so all we can do is the best we can do. And here's something that I tell a lot of people. It's right now, services are insufficient to meet the need. In other words, we don't have enough services for the amount of people that are experiencing extreme poverty. With that being said, sometimes the services that are offered are things that somebody doesn't want to accept, right? Like a shelter bed. I couldn't do shelters either. I have traumatic brain injuries. I have all sorts of issues that would preclude me from being able to live in an environment with several different people. And that's okay. But that also for me meant that I was going to have to be able to be physically well enough to provide for myself, be creative, get part of the community. You know, it's okay to say that help's not for you, but it's not okay to say there's zero help out there, because there's tons of help out there, but it's okay if it's not for you and not sufficient. I don't really know anyone. Well, you're new to the community. That comes with time. They have laundry, food, and bed. We have my roommate. That's the thing. It is scary. It's horribly scary. And those fears are valid. However, it's kind of like being in between a rock and a hard spot, right? At some point, you just have to recognize what the danger is, that fear, and decide what's worse. Would you be more scared to wrap up in a blanket underneath a bridge or be in where there's at least somebody kind of watching the area. So there's toss-ups, and all of it is really awful. Okay, what we should be doing is housing people, and it's not okay that anybody has to go through that. But it is what it is at this point. But understand as well that there are lots of people working on policy. This right here is like a little side thing. Most of the time we are in active meetings talking about policy, pushing our legislators, educating the public, and doing things like that will in the long term hopefully make huge differences in the way that we recognize humanity. Let's see. I believe. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. That was super nice of you. Totally kind. Thank you. Hi, Carol. Hi, Lauren. Hi, India. Narain. Hello. I am doing good. So let me get back to what I'm doing here. Okay. So what we have these. I've got to put together bags this week. We're going to be serving close to, what is it? I have 20 some cats and 10 dogs, and I think there's a rabbit. So, and then of course, Shelly's got the shelter that she's providing for. And this is all through Seattle Dogs. And so Shelly went and met with Laura yesterday and picked up a bunch of supplies so that we can put together singular bags, get that ready so that we can just drop them and people will get what they need, right? Do you advise on if I don't have a phone and I'm stranded walking nowhere to go? It's dehumanizing to ask because people are mean. They go. Phone is your case manager. If you go to the shelter, you'll get a case manager and they'll help sign you up for low cost, no income phone service. Okay. And that is a program that is offered to anyone based on income and that you will be eligible for. Okay. So, and it might be through Lifeline, I'm not sure. Anyway, so the small bags are fine, right? So this will go to one person. So all the little bags I'm going to set over here because we've already got these. That's a kitty one. Okay, good. And for being Seattle Dogs, cats seem to be where we're at right now. So I've got all these little bags here. Now this one is a little larger bag, but I'm going to actually take that down to an encampment that's down there because they have 5 kitties down there. And so instead of breaking this up because they're like the mom and the kittens, I'm just going to give them this one. But that one is its own separate. And so I put that over there. Now we got these big ones. So what I'm going to do is I've got these freezer bags here. They're 1 gallon size. And if you're asking, why do we break them down rather than just giving a full bag, right? The reason for it is because A, it allows us to maintain the amount of things that we give while also being able to recognize the fact that people have a hard time storing things. So if you were going to take this big bag, it's going to, it's going to last a little bit. So you're going to have a place that you can store it without pests. And so, like RVs or tents have a real hard time with that. I'm not sure about the tiny home villages, but so we do break these down. Daniel Jacobson, I have a survival backpack that has a spare phone with $15 a month unlimited plan for emergencies only and 3 months of medication. That is a wonderful, wonderful idea, Daniel. That is a way to go about that. Which reminds me, I have got to go pick up my meds tomorrow because I want to take them today. Oh my, is this going to be, yep. All right, guys, this is going to be an issue. I will be right back, but I have got to go grab a knife or something to cut this with. I'll be back. Okay, now I got a handy dandy knife to cut this with. So I'm just going to cut the bag open. And I've got this here. And I'm just going to start filling up these gallon size bags. Omar, hello. How am I doing? I am doing good. This is cat food. You can't even have this. This is not for you. No. She had to come check it out. So this week, we will be starting to service the pets and the tiny home villages, and that's super exciting. That is with Seattle Dogs. For those of you who don't know, I have my own organization called Being, Being. And I consult and help out where necessary in different organizations. A lot of times that looks like making the connections that are needed to make sure people are getting the supplies they need. Sometimes that also means consulting on issues where lived experience is necessary. That also means reaching out into the unhoused population to garner their input and thoughts on different things that are happening around in the communities. That also that looks like meetings, about some more meetings, and then getting out when I can. And then, of course, unrelated would be my 3 grandbabies on weekends. Oh, this smells so fishy. So fishy. Oh, definitely cat food. Ooh, stinky. Okay, so pretty much got this to where it is full. And this will be for 1 kitty bag. So I'm going to set this over with the other ones. Carol, Rowan is wearing a flower. Yes, that's one of my favorite collars for her. I think it's so adorable. Ro, come here. They want to see your collar. Can you show your collar? Yeah, look. It's connected. You got a flower. You got a flower. It's cat food. It's cat food. It's not for you. We're good. You get this cat. It's a bag. I'm putting the cat food in the bag. That is so my girl. I yesterday and if you ever need me to explain, just let me know, because I always assume like everybody's been here since like on the channel since like the beginning. But Rowan is a service dog, and I don't anymore. Like a lot of times I'm feeling good and I've been doing much better, on medications and being managed as far as my issues. But I was having a really, really tough time yesterday, and I can get almost agoraphobic, right? So I have a very hard time leaving in certain scenarios. And so I was really kind of worked up, having a bad day, wasn't going to leave. And then I was like, well, I could take Ro with me. Then I was like, well, somebody will say something if I don't have her completely outfitted in all her service dog gear, and I don't feel like getting. And I was like, just take her with. So we went on a little jaunt to the store, and of course, she hasn't actually been out in working dog capacity in probably like a year, and she did absolutely phenomenal. I did have to tell her to get down twice, but for the most part, she's absolutely amazing. And so I'm going around the store, and I forget that Gypsy works there. And so I get to the deli and I'm just like, I need to eat. I have not eaten in a couple days. I'm really feeling it. I need to eat. So I go over to the deli and Gypsy's there, and Roland did so good. And so she got thrown a little piece of deli chicken for being her wonderful self. So it was really awesome. And I've been doing like some TikToks, and I think they're really kind of cute. I'm really enjoying that platform, to be honest with you. I like the fact that it's kind of short. It's always difficult though when like I'm starting like a new project and things like that, because it's like, I wouldn't be me if I didn't talk about some of the trauma associated with being me. And so it's kind of like, well, where do you even start on some of this? But I've been watching a lot of them, and it's great because so many people are having like it's a way of connection with people who have like similar stories. And I've realized some things about myself, and yeah, so I'm super enjoying it. It's super short, so it keeps my little short attention span going. Let's see. I can't believe I had to give my dog away. I'm really happy you're helping the animals. You can also get free samples in the mail for those who not have known. I am sorry you had to give your dog away. Like that is the last thing that we want to happen with people who are unhoused. We want to see families, and it's Laura has her own thing for when people, because this is Laura's organization, Seattle Dogs. And if you follow me, you know Laura is one of my besties, and I love her so very, very much. But one of the things when people come up and they're like, and I'm manning a booth or whatever for her, and they're like, well, what do you guys do? I'm like, well, we help families stay together. And what I mean by that, in speaking in animal terms, is that many, many times animals will lose the only family they've ever known because of poverty and because a person cannot financially be there. Even though they're there and they love them and, you know, everything, financially it becomes a burden that they can't sustain. And so what we do is we make sure that those pets can stay with their owners, that this alleviates some of that burden. And so it helps the family stay together, because then people don't get to that point, right? So we've got food, and we've got like, I don't know if you can see, but I got like toys here. I've got little drinking things. I've got poo bags. I got bones. Like it isn't all just food either. Like we put together a good bag for these people and their pets, and make sure that they have our contact information so that when they run out, we can serve them again, and maintain relationships with these animals and these people as they move through this traumatic event, and hopefully come out on the other side. Ibrahim, hello, Sylvan. So we're gonna fill up another bag here. Wonder if I'm always doing this. I'll be like, I wonder if I could just pour it from the bag into there. And then what I'm going to end up doing is pouring it all over myself. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to continue with a little scoop like I have been, and realize that I need to be patient. So like I'm just out of this one bag, I've gotten 3 big bags. So this is going to support or help to support 3 families of kitties. So that's one bag, and that's why we break it down. And if it wasn't for Shelly going over and helping Laura with the storage unit and getting these supplies, we would not be able to break it down so efficiently and get these people the things that they need. Let's see. Sydney, I'd rather be homeless in a more woodsy area, but resources, maybe where you are, or in New York. Okay, there's big downsides to all of that. Now, and that's where also you got to know more about stories, because I was in the middle of Seattle. Now, there is a wooded strip along Seattle called the Jungle. Now, the Jungle, when I decided, because they swept us in East Lake, right? In our encampment, so traumatic. They took everything that we had tried to build, everything that we had tried to do as a community, and threw it all away. 72-hour notice, done, you out of here. And it was really difficult, right? Um, and so one of our some late people that came, Heroes for the Homeless, did outreach in our area. And they came by with some stuff to see how we were maintaining, and they'd heard we were getting swept, and so they wanted to see how, we were emotionally coping with this stuff, because it's very, very hard, and it makes you very, very angry, and it is an assault again while still being traumatized. So they had said, "Hey, so you've heard of the jungle?" And I'm like, and I am not a Seattleite originally, so I really didn't know. Didn't know. I'd heard things about the papers, and I was like, it's fine, guys. And they're like, we're not. All the kids were like, we're not going to the jungle. We're not. And I'm like, but we are. They told us, stay to the right. Don't go to the left. The left is where there's some danger. You want to stay to the right, hike up on in. And that's what I did. And some of the kids followed me. Well, almost all, but then afterwards, some people just couldn't deal with that. But we were still in the city. That's why people go to parks and other things when they want a more woodsy area. But if you want a rural area, then you have to realize that there's a reason that there's not many unhoused in those areas. And that's because they have critical lack of services. Okay, so it makes it 10 times harder to survive somewhere where there is zero help. And I have found that in many, many areas, they would prefer the people go to somewhere like a city that has services, so that they don't have the financial interest or ability to help in the ways that are meaningful. For example, I'm running into a situation in Vernon County in Wisconsin right now, where an entire mobile home court is being forced out because the owner one of my friends ended up going over there and buying, they bought their whole retirement. They sunk all their retirement money into a place, and these, and there's close to, I think, 20 families or 17 families that are completely now without any recourse or action. They just have to leave everything. These trailers can't be moved. They're too old. There's regulations in place and things like that. So they just lose everything. Just gone, done, get out. And they have until September. Well, I, of course, called the Human Services Department and Viroqua, and they said, we have no idea what you're talking about. They can go anywhere and ask for help. I said, well, that's not always, actually, ma'am. That's not always the case, but thank you. And I was like, so do you have outreach teams going or anything to this place to help these people? And she's like, that's not our business. That's not our problem. I'm like, okay, what? She's like, we don't have homeless in our area. I said, yeah, but you do, because they're going to be homeless. And she's like, yeah, but they can go to other areas. I was like, oh, so you don't have homeless in your area because you have them go to other areas so they can be homeless there, so you don't have to deal with it. Ridiculous. But, there's options. I would just think very critically, and first things first, get yourself set, right? So get you the things you need. In other words, you need phone, you need internet access, you need a way to have clean clothes and to clean yourself and to eat. And get some sleep. So take care of those, and then you can talk about or think about maybe more what you want versus what you need. Let's see. Patrick. Hi, Amanda. What a wonderful gift for those families. Pets are such an important. They are so important. And just, it's a big deal to be able to, these people who have pets. It's huge. I know, because Laura helped when I had Rowan out there. Like, all her cute stuff, most of it comes from Laura. Lotus, in the jungle, have you ever tried to climb up a tree to make a shelter for yourself? No. And the reason for that is because in the jungle where I chose to put our encampment was actually butted up next to a restoration area. And I was really big on telling like we had a little strip that we go get firewood and stuff from, and then I had like a little creek, but I didn't want to harm an area that has already been pegged as an area that needs to be restored. And so that would have taken, because see, when I was on house, it's never as simple. Like I thought too, it's never as simple as just like going and building a place for yourself, right? Because there's other stuff you got to do. Like for myself, I had to get neurological rehab. So for a long time when I was out there, I had 3 to 4 medical appointments a week. And those left me exhausted. And then I had to go and try to get food. And that's food bank runs, that's spanging, that's whatever I could do. And then by the time I get back, I'm exhausted. I've got to make a fire. I've got to, get me and Rowan calmed down. There isn't the time or the materials that are necessary for most people to be able to do that. When you see standing structures like that, most of the time that person's been out there for an extended amount of time. I started thinking about building and actually putting together materials and getting a saw and things like that at about 1.5 years out there is when I finally decided that housing was more than likely not going to come and that I was going to start learning how to build and frame my own place. Luckily, I got housing, so I never ended up having to build. But that is one of the things that I've seen over and over is when we're looking at standing structures, we're looking at people who have did what I did and just was like, wow, I didn't build anything, and because I started building and it was like a month later and they're like, you're housed. But let's see, Sydney, my stomach has been hurting because I've been nervous, haven't been wanting to eat. If you were me, would you go to the shelter? Here's the thing, Sydney, I had a community I was in, like, I had tried to go to the shelter and there were times that, I would stop by a shelter to see if they had anything that I could use or need. But for the most part, the kids or young adults, we didn't have any kids in our community. We had young adults. So that was like from the age of 18 to 25. And so they centered around the shelter, even though they didn't live at the shelter, if they needed, like if they got sick or whatever. But what they did is they'd go eat there. They had case management services there. They had things that they could go and get, like sleeping bags and tents that were provided to them. So they used the shelter as their base kind of operations so that their case managers don't have to come find them, right? Because that just means they're out there for longer. You want to make your time out there as short as possible because for every moment you're out there, your risk of death increases. So everything needs to be done to make sure in the end you're doing what you need to do to get to the help that will help you get out of there, if that makes sense. Let's see. I'm scared I'm going to come across people. They're going to be mean or call the police or something. That's always a concern. People do that, and there's not much you can do about it other than what everybody else does. And that's if somebody calls the police and you tell the police what is going on, don't be a threat. If people are mean, yes, there are going to be some people that are mean. But there are also going to be some people that are absolutely wonderful. There are going to be people that will blow your mind with their kindness. There will be people that inspire you if you wait in ways that you didn't think you could be inspired. So I would say, for my own advice, I would definitely remember that and understand that more than likely the mean is going to be the minority. Especially if you're just civil to people. People want to be kind. You just have to give them a reason. Not everybody, no. But from what I've noticed, a lot of people want to be kind. You just got to give them a reason to. And that's just being civil and being a human being. And also helping other people in ways that you can when you run across them. It's not always about what you have. Sometimes it's just an ear. Let's see. Aloha, Erin. Lotus, I'm glad you got housing. Thank you. Sydney, I'm getting a sleeping bag. Good. That's important. You also need a hiking bag. I'm just going to say right now, you need a backpack or a hiking bag to carry your stuff in. If you're going to ever have an encampment, it doesn't even matter, shelter or whatever, take your important stuff, your really important stuff like your phone, if you ever have any money, anything like that, and keep it with you. Do not ever leave your stuff. I don't think I can impart a better life lesson than don't leave your things. Now, tents and sleeping bags and the stuff that, is important, but can be replaced at some point in time. The things that you really want to watch for are IDs. Any form of your ID, social security card, anything that identifies yourself, keep on you. Okay? You do not want to lose that. It is so much harder after those things are lost to come back and try to gain those things again. Especially, unless you have like some parents or, some family members that will help with that. Let's see. Like I said, money, phone. Definitely always water. Have something that you can carry water with you at all times. Stay hydrated, stay hydrated, stay hydrated. It's more important that you'll come across, know where your food banks are. Okay. Food banks many, many times will make day packs so that it's a no cook bag. So if you don't have a way to cook your food, they'll hand you a no cook bag and you can eat that day. Know where your day centers are. That way you can go and eat there as well. A lot of this stuff is area or region dependent as well. Some areas have good resources, some not so much. Let's see. Let's see. Sydney. People make you think twice before meeting you. Oh, Lotus, you say that with the tears thing, but do you want to know what one of our biggest jokes is? When we're trauma bonding and laughing about things that happened to us out there. And this was something I was told by somebody while I was still unhoused. And I didn't think it was true, but I can tell you right now it is true. It is true. If you ever want some time alone to yourself and want people to scatter like the plague and have that time in the middle of a city, sit down and start crying. People will avoid you. People, I don't know why that is. It's happened to me a couple times. I don't cry often, but there was a couple times that, yes, I broke down. And I will tell you right now, that is the quickest way to get everyone to just avoid you. You will have the alone time that you crave. Sorry, do not. Do not recommend walking up to people crying unless you're hurt physically and you need them to call an ambulance. Let's see. Am I going to appeal that denial from SSI? No, I am not. I decided a long time ago that I was going to do my best to just invest in my community and give back. And I was tired of being told that what I do has no value to anyone. And so I started my own business and I found out that I have a lot of value in what I do. And I have wonderful colleagues now. And by being upfront and honest about my disabilities, I have gained a lot of respect and from people who are going through the same things, and I've been able to make huge differences. So while I still have all the conditions, I am able to do work. That was the thing. I didn't even know that what I do existed. I didn't know that I could just do the best I could for humanity. And does it make tons of money? No. No. But I will tell you that by being in a housing program and things like that allows me the ability to work as much as I do, because I do a lot of work. And then I realized too, people are I came from an environment where work meant physically doing something. And I realized that most of what I can do, other than outreach, because we all know that this has to be physically done and all of that, but most of what I can do really fits well with my type of brain injury. I had a hit to the frontal lobes. So for me, I'm super impulsive, have very hard time sitting with one thing. There's just a lot that goes into that, and bipolar, so I'm super emotional. And so that also means that I'm super passionate. So it's about, finding the right thing to be passionate about, finding the ways to make a difference, and finding that way to take back myself. You know, I I was talking to somebody the other day, and they're like, "I wish I could just paint, or what was it? I wish I could just draw." And I was like, "You can." Like, "Oh no, I couldn't make money at that." And I'm like, "Well, people do all the time." "Oh, that's not real work." "Oh, it's an artist isn't real work, huh?" Really? So please tell me the definition of real work. And of course, that was like, well, no, see, because that's where we're done. We're done with that now. We're done devaluing people. We're done saying that one person is worth more or not worth more based on their production for someone else. People are valid regardless of their production value. And I'm glad that I learned that lesson, and I'm glad that I was able to use a broken brain in many, many different one of my colleagues called me, and she was like, "I need your brain for a minute." And I'm like, "Aw, thank you." That's really sweet. I didn't think anybody did anymore. Let's see. Lotus. SSDI likes to reject people. They prioritize veterans with disabilities over civilians with disabilities. They might. I know that they reject just about like everybody I know has had to fight so hard. And I fought, and I was so tired of fighting. And at the time, I remember the hearing, and I was just like, and I kept telling the judge, I'm like, I'm trying to get better. Like, it was almost like I was apologetic. I was like, "I'm so sorry. I'm not to the point where I need a little bit of help. I'll just get a little bit of help, and I'll be able to pull myself up, and I'll do, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing." And I was doing everything I could to prove somehow that I had fucking value. And you know what they told me? "You can fold clothes." I can do other things too then. I'm not doing it with them anymore. I am not putting myself in the position to have an entity with zero medical ability or people that know me or my medical history have a part in saying how my life goes anymore. I'm done with that. Liz. It's a mistake not to appeal the said denial. They deny you one twice. Honey, you may be able to do some work, but you are without a doubt eligible. I agree with you, Liz. Absolutely. I am wholeheartedly disabled. I think most of us can understand that. I, but I still feel like I'm moving into spheres that I wouldn't have otherwise. And regardless of my disability, at this time, I do have the ability to do work. Is that work going to get paid the same as some others? No, but I think that's kind of just the way it is with everyone. I don't think that our country really likes paying anybody a living wage. It seems to be the fight on the forefront most of the time. But I work in a sphere that I absolutely adore. I love everything that I do. I absolutely love everything that I do. And I feel that it really makes huge differences. And yeah, there's been a lot of exciting things that have come about. Aaron, let's see. Lotus, right? Erin, you are so important. We're all talented in our own way, right? And to like, why on earth would we should, and nobody on here has done that. I'm just saying, like in general, I've heard shaming from communities about, I even made a joke. I even did it one time. I was talking with Mark from Invisible People and Carol, somebody from Haynes, and I was like, and they're like, "Why aren't you a philosophy major?" Because I do like philosophy too. And I was like, "Oh, because I want to get out of homelessness." Now, that joke, while I giggled, ha 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 ha, thought it was cute, ha 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 ha, was wrong on so many levels because philosophy is important and it teaches us a lot. And the way we think and how we think about things and the way that our society is shaped by that thought, those things are super important. But I just equated it with zero. And that wasn't okay. I get that it was funny. I get that, whatever. But I had to check myself because I don't want to limit myself or my loved ones by those beliefs. And because I stopped doing that, I am an artist now. So I do paintings and I do photography and I do videography, paid for organizations. And it's because I finally believed in the value of what I can do. And I said I was going to do it regardless. So let's look at how many cat food bags we have so far. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, we got a few more to make. Let's see. Unless it's for money, and then it's worth it. It is, and it's nice. I just am. My thought is always about the activity rather than. I get myself into a lot of volunteer work because I do. Because I do it regardless. But sometimes that works out, and in the end, I get things that are, very valuable to me. Support systems, things like that. Let's see. City to sleep. I'm going to leave him a nice switch. I leave out of his apartment. I'm tired of getting walked over. I missed call that advice because it's helped my mom. Okay. I'm not altogether sure what that means. So I'm not being rude, but I'm just going to move to the next message. Liz, it's great. You love what you do. I'm just saying, to never feel guilty about getting subsidy from anything government, which is people. I agree. And Liz, that's something, thank you, because I do have my housing. My housing is paid for. So I will have permanent supportive housing for the rest of my life. I mean, barring any dumb things. But so I only have to pay 30% of income. But I remember, and it's funny because my case manager has said a lot about that, about overdoing it because I feel the need to pay the world back for human rights. And I'm coming into terms with my own journey with that and just realizing that human rights isn't something that is deserved. It just is. And it's by being a human on this planet that has the resources to have you live. So yes. Thank you, Liz. I appreciate that. Sydney, if you want to save money and have an extra rice and beans is awesome. You fill water bottles with beans rice. Yes, I would agree with that. One thing I would say for myself, though, is I am big on quality of life, right? So while rice and beans is very good, I'd also recommend having tea packets, coffee, instant coffee, some, little things like that can make your mood different. And if you're in a better mood, you are able to accomplish more, get more things done. I'm gonna have to vacuum this floor because I'm spilling cat food all over it. Do you also get SNAP benefits? I'd apply for everything under the sun. I do not actually get SNAP benefits right now. I forgot to fill out the like it's a thing every 6 months, and I forgot to make the deadline. So yeah, I am actually, that is it. This week is a paperwork week. I hate, for all the stuff I do, I hate anything that has to do with taking care of myself. That also is a level, like I can deal with NGO stuff, I can deal with policy, I can deal with mass disasters, but ask me to fill out a form detailing my life, and I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to answer questions. I have no idea why my brain does that, but it does, and it does it fairly regularly. Let's see. Barzan, I've been working at different jobs that provide housing. I absolutely love my jobs, but I don't claim residency. Am I considered homeless? I don't think so. I don't know. It would really depend on the situation. But you say that the jobs are providing housing so that you are housed. You may be qualified as insecurely housed, but that's not necessarily the same as homeless. It can lead to homelessness real quick, though. So it's definitely in line. But I think every region, you'd have to look at right now, you'd have to look at the McKinney-Vento Act through HUD and look at the definitions there and see if you, I think it's McKinney-Vento, yeah. And look at the definitions to see if you qualify. But more than likely, if you have housing, it's probably, and it changes a lot, you might be insecurely housed, but it's still housing. It's not the same, for example, as having to, go to a crowded shelter or to have a tent or a blanket on the street. There's some differences. Liz Smith, I mean, it's important to maybe get SSDI. I've had a family members involved in this. I would say appeal. Oh, I did appeal. I appealed, and then they said no, and I was like, okay, I'm tired. Like, I got tired of, it felt like I was begging for my life to have worth. And I am so over that. Like, I'm just over that. I have been through so much that it felt like placing myself under judgment of another human being as to whether I am worth a pittance was done. Like, done, not doing it. The one thing I would say that is the most important for me besides housing would be healthcare, because I cannot function without my medications, and my medications run close to $5,000-6,000 a month. Let's see. I was saying in the message about I asked my landlord for advice, and he said, of course your stuff will get stolen. So, well, I mean, the thing is it's not, of course it'll get stolen. Be like, well, these are the situations that can lead to things being taken, and these are the remedies for such. I would say that, if people do say things in mean ways, but I wouldn't consider that necessarily, I would say that frank and to the point. It's hard, but having a thick skin can be super, super helpful while being out there, because there are going to be things that will make you want to throw yourself off a bridge. Let's see, appeal again. They designed to wear you out. Keep appealing. The thing with it, Liz, now is I work enough to where what they would offer me is less than what I could make. So I won't be applying again unless something in my history gets worse. Like, I worry every single time that I have brain fog, because I'm worried, if you've had several brain injuries, there can be a time where it just doesn't come back. Like, you're done. Like, your brain fog comes and it's done. And so when that starts happening, I worry that this is going to be the time. But for right now, I have found my niche and am doing okay. Um, I agree that it's designed to wear people out and it's designed to be horrible. And I'm done fighting with them. I can't do it. And they were right. They weren't right for a very long time, but I finally was able to do it and get. And the thing is if I hadn't have found niche employment, I wouldn't have been able to. It's like really honestly, if I didn't just like start my own business and start doing it for me, it wouldn't have been possible. Let's see. If you've ever been to the hospital for suicidal thoughts or anything, you can have medical renters transfer to the hospital. You're right. Yeah, they have programs for all of that. Your doctors will, when you file that, the doctors will work with Social Security and getting all your medical records to them. What the issue isn't really, though, this is what I found. It isn't about what your doctors say, right? So my doctors, I have a list of disorders, whatever. And it doesn't matter what they say. It matters what the Social Security's office medical team decides that what my doctors say is valid or not. And whether that has an impact on my ability to obtain employment and keep employment. And so what they do is it is heartless. It's just a heartless thing. And you don't get a decision. They decide for you. Let's see. Hey, I'm doing good. Glad you already. Yeah, no, I am glad that I'm doing all right, and I'm happy with my life, and I'm happy with where I'm at, and definitely, making those steps up and doing the best I can. Let's see. Hello. Also get an attorney to help you. Yes. It isn't free. They take a portion of that out, but there are programs and things that will help people work right through that. SSDI, of course, is notorious for denying everybody. I just don't want to be part of their little game no more. So now I have, as you can see, I've got all these little kitty bags here. So I am going to show you kind of what we put into them and how we do that. So I'll lean over here. And we try to collect these little reusable bags here, okay? Because it just gives them also a nice little bag to put their things in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bag and I'm going to take one of these and I am going to put that in there. So we now have a bag of kitty food in there. I'm going to pull my toys over. Oh, we've got, look at this. I am actually going to put this with the bigger one because this has several toys on it. So that is going to go to the mommy and the kitties that are down there. So we're going to put that on the bigger one. And we're going to look at our cat toys here. Oh, look at all the mice's. Meese. So we're going to take these. And I am just going to choose a couple of the Mises. And we're going to put those in there. So we got that. Now I'm going to look and see. Now we do have, I'm going to need to get some more because I can already tell I don't have enough. But we have cat treats. So what we like doing is we like putting a thing of food, regardless cat or dog, some treats, some toys. If they need, we do carry things like this, like their little harnesses and leashes and things like that. What are you doing, Ralph? Are you helping me? Like that? Just want to see what it is. It's cool. Okay. Rowan's over here checking things out. So this is another thing that we put in, and this is I wonder if I have any that are not wrapped, so I can show you. I do not, they're all wrapped up. So what I'm going to do is I've got one of these. These are collapsible bowls, right? So they can be pushed out and they hold water and food. And I'm going to put one of those in there. Then I'm going to take this. This is a little thing of poo bags. I'm going to put that in there. So far we've got food, we've got treats, we got a little bowl here, we got some toys and some poo bags. And then I want to come over here. And this is, and we do have other things like CBD oil and flea treatments, but that we don't give in everyone. We just like kind of when they need, we have those. So I'm going to grab a little Seattle Dogs flyer here. And a business card so that when they need, they can call us. And I know that somewhere around here I have masks because they will also be getting a mask in there as well. So we just tuck those in. And then also I will be putting more than likely a sticker for One Health or a sticker for Shelter App in there as well. Sometimes we'll put like these ones I'm not going to because these are going to a transitional village and they have access to water and things. So I won't be putting like a little water bottle or anything in there. But sometimes we do try to put like a little present in there or something like a little snazzy. I will today be going through things and looking for all the socks because I do on everyone like to put a little thing of socks in there. And that's pretty much it. So this is how we do that. We break everything down. We grab a bag. This one's going to be a dog one. Okay. I'm going to grab one of these little ones over here. Do I have any little ones over here? Bam, I do. So this is a smaller one for dog food. We put the dog food in there. Okay. Now, this dog food, I am going to say this is going to go to a big dog. So when we look for the big dog stuff, oh, what? We have a reindeer toy. Now, what we do though is you're going to see me take this out of the wrapping. And the reason that we do take this out of the wrapping is because if somebody was to take this from them and they might try it, like not the person we're giving to, but if somebody tried to take it, they could take it with a thing on and then go return it at a store. And we want that for the animals. We don't want that to even be a temptation there. So we got the big toy. And then, because this is also, we got the big toy, and that tells me it's a big dog, I am going to grab one of these. Now, these, for the dogs, are like, they're no hide bones. Rowan absolutely loves them. So we're going to put one of those in. Again, we're going to put in one of these bad boys. Ooh, and these ones are coming with us. Now I can show you how these are. These are kind of cool. I like these. I carry these with Rowan all the time. See, pop them out. It's a bowl. Pop them back in. Put one of those in. And then I'll go find the baggies. All right. Well, I'm not sure where the rest of my dog bags are, but you can see the basic way that we go about this and how we're going to get all these done. Now, now that I've got all this cat stuff done, I will be making up cat bags and we will be getting those over to the people that need them. And I will be cleaning up this holy wreck in my living room to do that. Let's see. Okay, I need to. Let's see. Could be better. Thank you for being the awesome person you are. Experiencing a similar situation after my grand mal seizure, still trying to recover cognitively. Yeah, it takes a while. And I do, like, because when I notice, like yesterday, having to take Rowan to the store and stuff, and I'm not thinking as clearly as I usually do. It always scares me that maybe it's not, this is going to be it. This is going to be the last time. And, usually I move past that, but man, if brain fog lasts more than 2 days, I am freaking out. Like I can't do it. I don't have the time to be down. Carol, how is my son? Hot mess, in and out of rehab. We are just hoping against hope that his life gets saved. It's been very difficult, honestly. And there isn't a whole lot that anybody can do about it except for himself. And so that's it's just the way it is. And so we're here. We tell him that we love him and we hope that he makes the right decisions by continuing on with rehab. He's left a few times and went back. So he's back now in rehab and we're hoping that it'll work. And but I also know that this is a struggle, and this is a struggle that a lot of families face. And we are by no means alone in our struggle. And it's something that as a family, we are trying to learn as much as we can about. I've worked in some harm reduction spheres, so I'm kind of trying to use the knowledge from that as well in how to handle the behaviors that come with this and without getting angry or showing, or giving the responses, because that's one for my son. He likes getting responses. He likes there to be an emergent feel all the time. And I can't do that anymore. I'll dissociate. And so he tried that a couple times and I just couldn't give him the reaction that he wanted. I just can't. I don't feel like that anymore. Like I don't literally somebody broken in front of me. I was just like, okay, well, we need some ice. I don't. And so he's coming to terms with that. I just hope that he comes back to us. So thank you for asking, Carol. I appreciate that. And I appreciate that you remembered. Cindy, do I ever watch Soft White Underbelly interviews with homeless and addiction? Or anything and everything? There's 100 interviews. Sometimes it gives good information. Well, I think that I don't usually watch things like that. Most of what I ascribe to is from lived experience. So when I do watch things, I am watching with a tone of trying to educate myself. And many, many times when I say I was to watch a YouTube, say I didn't know me. And I was to watch the Invisible People episode with me. There's so many things that I could assume based on that were absolutely not true. And, there's got to be more to a story. There's data connected to that, whether that be data on the story or data on the larger issue in particular. There's regional differences. There's so many differences I am a person that just dives in and does their research. Will listen to people if they want to tell me their lived experience and their story, like when I'm out there. But no, for the most part, I don't go and watch other people interview other people. Just because I'm out there and I've interviewed people and things, but I just want people to know there's so much more. That's like a taste of the info, right? To look at a situation and think, oh, well, I saw this, so I know everything about. I saw Amanda in Invisible People, so I know everything about homeless women now. You don't. I'm not saying that anybody's saying that. I'm saying in this sphere, if you were to say, I know all these things now about homeless women. Well, one story, a part of one story at one time. So, I mean, there's just so much more to learn and know, rather than just, I think that interviews are helpful. Talking with people is super helpful. All those things are helpful, but if put in context with other information, because otherwise it can be very misleading. Nam Nadu, wishes from Indigo, wishes from Seattle. Hi, Automotive Locksmith. Rowan, you got told hi. Hi, Mikhail. Nam Nadu, it's been a very challenging task to keep house clean. Very tough job, right? I feel that. My 3 grandkids are 4, 3, and 2, and they do not have the same need for things to be picked up the way that I do. Very challenging. He'll be okay. Don't blame yourself. I'm going through the same thing. It is, it's difficult. It's really difficult to go through, and not react in any kind of anger, because I think that's the thing is it gets tiring, and it gets angering, and it gets frustrating, and all of these things. But I'm constantly trying to remember that this is not the person, this is the behavior, and this is the side effects of the drugs that he's using. So that's where, I just try to constantly keep that in my head, is that these are behaviors that come with these particular um, drugs. And so to not get to not take it as a personal attack against oneself sometimes is a real big hard thing to do. Um, let's see, you don't look like a grandma. People say that all the time, but I will be honest, like, I do though. I look exactly like my grandchildren's grandmother. And there's many, many of us that, I I look like me. I don't, yeah. If you ask them, they think I look exactly like their grandma. If anyone is struggling to get a bed, they have airbeds are $20 and then $1. Airbeds are good unless you're in outdoors in the cold. I find that any kind of airbed that is in the cold at all will start disintegrating. The plastic disintegrates very fast, and you'll have to patch it constantly, and it will just go out, which is awful. I would recommend a better one of those foam mats, and there are ways to get those like sticks, one of those like what are they, the eggshell crates, put those one of those in your sleeping bag. I'm glad you're safe. The door kick in was scary. Well, then what was, yeah, it was terrifying, absolutely terrifying. And it was interesting, when I called him out on that, and like, you had your children in here, my dude. And he just did not grasp the severity of his actions, and that was really telling for me, that he's just really not at the state of mind yet to think about things, and the long term ramifications of his actions, and how they affect other people. And so I just kind of left that where it's at. He's going to have to deal with that through the court system. But, there will be a day when he has healed or whatever, and we'll want to talk about it. And then we can discuss it when he is behaviorally ready to accept some of the things that his actions have caused in regards to his family and children. So, well, guys, it has been over an hour, and I enjoy so much sitting and chatting. I really do. Thank you for sitting while I did these bags. I've got tons and tons of stuff left to do, and we are going to get those out. And hopefully this week I will bring you with me while we do some outreach and drop some stuff off. So let me address comments. I'm going to please reconsider appealing. It can affect everything long term for you. No judgment. I know that. I'm just done fighting it. Sydney, you look amazing. Your face is clear. Your hair looks healthy. You have a good apartment. I'm happy for you to tell you're doing better. Well, yeah, I mean, washing hair, make it clear. That's the thing if you're out there, it isn't, if you're outdoors, it isn't your fault. It's just dirty out there. Like, it's impossible to say. I washed my hair under it. Like, and even now though, like, there are things I didn't know then. Like, the amount of runoff that, is just absolutely toxic. And I washed my hair in that, and thinking just about all the chemical, like the things that I was exposed to were not okay. And people were okay with it, and fighting the fact that people are okay with it on a regular basis, that their neighbors and community members are dying. And that was a hard realization. But now I work to undo that and help others and educate. So that's super important. Cat, don't get lost in that pile, right? Yeah, I know. And actually, okay, so before I go, one quick story. So I had all this stuff, and I have like this little, like it's like a little pull cart thing. And so I was pulling my little pull cart, and I had stacked all these bags of dog food and everything on top, and it was like way high. But I put a box of toys for some reason below it. I stacked the bags on a box of toys that was busting. And I'm by the elevator, and this person's walking over, and all these bags just fall to the floor. And I'm like, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. And this like first floor, and I'm just like, ah. So I'm trying to pick up these huge bags, put them back on the thing, and then that box of toys just busts. Dog toys, cat toys, everywhere. And I'm just like, leave it. It's fine. I'm just gonna set it here. I'll come back for everything. I just got to get this up. And they quiet me, and they say, when somebody is struggling, you need to help, right? And I was just like, you didn't. I was like, yes. And they helped me, get it all up to my door with no dirty looks, no sighs, no nothing, just compassion and kindness. And I sat with that last night for a while, just like heart all fuzzy and warm. Like, you are so right. When somebody needs help or they're struggling, it's time to help. And I was just like, that's pretty amazing. So yeah, I was definitely a pile, trying not to get lost in it. Thank you, Liz. I appreciate you. You guys, thank you. And I hope you have a wonderful evening. I will talk to you all later. Bye.